Today in Stadia news, one of the platform's biggest games now has crossplay, and is it a sign we're going to see the next iteration later this year? Today also sees the launch of a new game with a full trial, plus a title later this week. 1440p in mobile is on its way. Finally, we'll touch on some game sales, plus some small news, guys. As always, a thumbs up. Let's jump straight into something that came as a surprise to many of you guys. Me, I was actually waiting for this to happen for quite some time. We had seen hints of it. FIFA 22 now has crossplay in online seasons and online friendlies. Now, according to EA, they're claiming this is crossplay testing among PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and Stadia. So essentially next-gen versions, leaving a lot of PC players pretty upset at this news. Now, for me, I think this is pretty big in general because FIFA has never had crossplay in its history. EA is just typically pretty stingy when it comes to adding crossplay to their games, so I thought this was insanely good news. I also think this bodes really well to see FIFA 23 on Stadia, especially with the new porting tools going to be available, though I do wonder about Madden, and well, I guess we'll see with that. But to see a big update like this to hit Stadia, I think is huge. Sadly, we had a sale on this game last week, and for some strange reason it didn't carry over, but FIFA has always been on sale almost like every month this year, so if you're thinking about buying it, I'd say wait a little longer. My guess is we'll see another one soon, but I really thought this was insanely awesome to see. With that, jumping to the games news, Overcooked 5 releases today with a new trial, which I think is awesome. I love how games are now launching with trials, so you can immediately see if you want to buy it, but it does come with a hefty price tag, a no launch sale at $39.99. I guarantee you guys this will hit sales in the months ahead, but I mean, even at $40, you're really getting a ton of value for what I feel is the very best party franchise to release in the past decade. In my opinion, it's up there with like Mario Party. Another game releasing later this week is Elemental War 2. It drops on Stadia for $19.99. It comes with crowd choice, and man, I almost want to get the game just for that alone, just to see how that looks. What exactly will the crowd dictate when you're streaming this? Now, the game is a tower defense title. Admittedly, this is not my favorite genre, and if I'm being honest with you guys, it doesn't look great, but I don't want to judge the game until reviews come out from users and then we see a lot more gameplay footage. But either way, kudos to the developers for actually adding crowd choice, something that you rarely see on a Stadia game, and I don't even remember the last game to launch with crowd choice. It's literally been that long. Lastly, I want to remind you all guys, Stadia Pro did launch with 4 Pro titles. We have Alumo the Master Mode Chronicles, which is actually launched to very good reviews, praise all around. It's a brand new title, it's a good one. Outriders, Paw Patrol, the movie, and then K's and the Wild Mask. And I'm still hoping for Deliver Us to the Moon to potentially hit sometime this month, or I just love to see some form of Stadia Pro surprise. I think that would be sweet, but overall not too bad, especially if you think about this. Actually, 3 of the 4 Pro games have launched within the last year, so these are relatively new titles. All right, moving on to some different stuff here. 9 to 5 some days ago did another APK teardown of what's under the hood with Stadia and what they're doing with updates. They uncovered 1440p support for mobile, as well as some potential game-specific touch controls. So I mean, it looks like Stadia is looking to roll out some better support for mobile gaming, which is always big for me, and it does make me wonder if this is on the heels of some of that rumored expansion we've been seeing. And I also think, I mean, 1440p would be insanely good for myself, and I know a lot of others would really utilize this, especially with the newest phones, and I know my S21 will be rocking some 1440p, so hopefully we get to see this pretty soon. Finally, guys, I wanted to highlight some game sales. Some of this game sales are being dubbed indie game sales, but I won't spam you guys with too many indie games. There is some good ones that I did miss on today's list, so if something looks good for you on the Stadia store, check it out. But we will start with Figment, and I want to highlight this one because it's $1.99. When a game is that cheap, I just need to highlight it. Phoenix Point, the closest game to XCOM Stadia has in its library, comes in at a cool $14.99. Now, what I'm going to dub as the game sale of the week, Serious Sam 4, is $19.99. This is some insanely mindless fun. I couldn't recommend this game more. Sniper Elite 4 comes in at $11.99. Again, another top-notch shooter. Keep in mind, these games don't go on sale often. The last few that I just mentioned, so great value. Then we have Zombie Army 4 Dead War, and if you want to kill some Zeds in a chaotic fashion at $14.99, there you go. All of these were mostly awesome, rarely seen sales, so overall good stuff. With that, guys, if you can, click that video on the top left if you want to find which games you should play on Stadia, as I have the top 20, and as always, I'll see you in the clouds.